Hey guys, Coach Andrew here. Welcome back to the C2C Podcast. Today's episode is going to be talking about client churn and how you can keep clients staying longer inside of your business. We'll be going over the beliefs that might be keeping your churn high, how we can use churn to our advantage to building our business, as well as the 4 real reasons why churn is so bad for most businesses in the health industry. A lot of people think that it is normal and common for people to just regularly cycle through health programs, that a lot of people working on their health are very inconsistent, and that it's not really something that you have to deal with. But really, churn is a phantom problem because it is something that is completely in control with you as the health coach or the practitioner. There's a lot of things that you can do to keep people working with you longer in your world. And I'm not saying you have to generate some type of fake or phantom problem for them. No, there's actually legitimate things that you can help them with. That being said, you do have to adjust your current belief system around why you have churn in your business. And churn is important because if you can keep clients staying with you longer, it means you need less people to grow and scale month over month. Churn is what allowed me to get to $1.4 million in my hormone coaching business last year. Churn is what allowed me to work with an average of 550 people a year for 6 years in a row. It's because I was really good at keeping a client engaged, keeping them connected, and having them stay in my world. So let's go into the beliefs around churn, because there are some really outlandish ones that people have told me over the span of the past couple months that I really want to break down. And the first belief is this: if clients hit their initial goal, it's okay if they leave. They don't need me anymore. Yeah, well, this really assumes that the only reason why clients stay is for just the one singular outcome that they hired you for. So basically, you've told them, hey, I can help you lose the 30 pounds. Hey, I can help you remove your IBS. Hey, I can help you heal your back pain. But the moment that immediate issue is done, I cannot teach you anything else. Your work with me is completed because you've went to the original result. That doesn't really make any sense, because in reality, high retention programs, they actually evolve goals with the client. I mean, think about it. How many clients have you worked with that you said, hey, 30 pounds is the first step. Now you need another 15 pounds. Now we need to work on strengthening your legs. Now we need to go for the marathon, or even something simple like physiotherapists with back pain. You also want to then work to strengthen their back so that way the issue doesn't come again. So if you are saying to yourself, it's okay if they leave after the initial goal, what you're saying is that you're not the go-to person for the next phase of their growth. And that's a very dangerous belief, because what happens is you start putting the ownership back on the client to find their own level of care when you're the person dealing care with them. The second belief is churn is just the cost of doing business. I've come across so many practitioners who are stuck, and they're stuck in the mindset of like, oh, I just have to accept that people are not going to stay with me long term, that after the first program, they're going to leave and I'm going to have to replace that spot. And those are the same practitioners and health professionals that find themselves making the same money quarter after quarter and year after year. They think churn is the cost of doing business. Here's the thing. Maybe it is for low box gym memberships of $37 a month where people are not really invested in going and you don't really want them to go because you don't want them to use their facility. But that's not your business. That's not the way you operate your health coaching business. For you, it's about providing long-term results. So you having this belief that it's client cycles are unavoidable, it's like, no, they're completely unavoidable. The things that fix this is strong onboarding, giving them ongoing value, and giving them a community. If you do those 3 things, a lot of the practitioners that we work with inside of C2C sustain their relationships with their clients for 12 to 18 months. And I know inside of my program, the Vantage program and the Hormone Reboot program, when I was running my coaching company, they stayed for an average of 2.5 years. And that's because they loved the community. They loved the level of accountability. They loved ongoing learning, and they started to fall in love with the process. Now, the next belief is very interesting. It's the more clients I get, the less churn matters. You're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm getting a lot of volume, so I don't really have to worry about how many people that leave my world. And the reality is like, no, volume hides churn, but it doesn't fix it. You can still be leaking clients out the back door. Maybe people are not happy with your program. Maybe people are not seeing the success that they were. Maybe they don't feel like they have a connection to the community and they're exiting, and that's actually going to become a long-term problem for you because you're going to be spending more time and money replacing them rather than scaling on top of them. Now, for the next client belief, this one's a very dangerous one. People leave my world because they're unmotivated or lazy. This entirely shifts blame onto the client. You're saying to yourself, the people that I said yes to join my world, the people that I onboarded, that I said were the right fit, that filled out the application, that hopped on the assessment and actually joined my world, now you're saying, oh, they're leaving because they're unmotivated and lazy. More often, when I'm looking at coaches that have excessively high churn rates, it's because they have clients that don't feel supported, that they have clients that are not seeing results, or that they have clients that aren't clear on the next step. As in, the program is coming up to an end, and then you're not really letting them know that there's a phase 2 or that there's another area you can help them in. So they go, hey, thanks, coach, and they kind of shake your hand and they leave. People are not unmotivated or lazy, especially around health. People cared enough to work with you in the first place. You just have to now take the initiative as the practitioner, as the person leading them, and give them opportunities to continue to grow in either areas. Now, the next belief here is if clients are paying monthly, that churn is inevitable. A lot of times, coaches in the industry try to encourage pay in fulls because they think if they have people on monthly plans, that those people are kind of less serious, that they're on shorter term commitments, and then those people are kind of naturally going to leave the world. I'll say this, monthly payments don't automatically mean short-term commitment. Some of my most successful clients that were with me for 6 years, one of them paying me, I think it was close to $110,000 over a 6-year period. She started with a 6-week program. Then she went to a 12-week program. Then she went to our academy. And so many things continued to grow, but she had a smaller commitment to make sure that she was in the right space. Monthly payments are really just an easy way for someone who maybe doesn't have that cash up front to join your world. Now, if you do the right thing in relationship building, in creating client converting content that actually speaks to your ideal client, they're actually going to be invested in the transformation and they're not going to be invested in the billing cycle. This is largely changing your message. If you're speaking to people who have short-term commitments, who are only looking for the first initial goal or the initial result, of course you're going to get people who are going to be non-committal and who are not going to be consistent on payments. But that's not your people. Your people stay long term, and your people are confident in your process because you're speaking to that person. This belief here that I've written down, this next one is really, really good. Retention's only about getting better results. A couple of the practitioners that I've worked with in the past just think the way that I'll keep a client for longer is I just keep delivering them a better result. I can safely say I have been inside of mentoring programs, and I know you have been inside of programs as well, that delivered a phenomenal result, better than you ever thought was possible, and you still left their containers. Yes, results matter, but perceived progress, your ability to emotionally connect with them, and ultimately these people feeling a part of something bigger. Maybe it's your mission, maybe it's a community group. This is what keeps people engaged. I'll tell you, clients stay for many different reasons. Some clients stay because of results, but others stay because of community, because they like being beside like-minded people who are supporting them every step of the way. Others stay solely for your support. They want a maintenance after hitting their main goal, and they don't want to stop the process because they don't want to backtrack. So there's a lot of other reasons why people stay. So just focusing on the result isn't really enough to get people to stay past the 6-month mark or an 8-month. Now, this next belief here is very interesting. If I just make my program better, people will stay longer. Look, a great offer is important. It is. But if you're not intentionally nurturing them, if you're not helping them set milestones, if you're not giving them upsell pathways, even the best groups lose people. Because with the process, especially as you're growing a group container or you have a group offer or you're working with people in a mentorship, the more people inside of that, the harder it is for you to keep individual tabs on people. So if you do not have a clear pathway for them to be able to navigate your program, if you don't have ways that you're giving them opportunities to upsell naturally through the process, then the moment the handholding starts to go away, they're going to start naturally falling off. And this is just one of the greatest challenges of having a group program, is keeping people engaged. This is all about engagement. It's not about offering more modules or creating more bonuses inside of the program. That's not going to be the only thing that helps people stay longer. Now, final belief that I want to break down is this whole aspect of like graduating my program is the ultimate goal. When I'm listening to some of the sales recordings from our coaches, sometimes inside of their consult to try and sell a program, they say, once you join my program, once you work with me for 6 sessions, once you do this process, you're not going to need me anymore. You're going to be able to continue on your own. And this is what we would call like a graduation. You're offering them the exit as the ultimate goal. While some clients, some of them will naturally move on, they'll say, hey, look, I'm good to go on my own. There are tons of people that can be supported through maintenance, where you can offer them a way that they can stay in your world and maintain their level of results so they don't drop off. There's also a lot of people who could be supported through new goals, because maybe the initial goal is not the only thing that they're working on. Maybe that's the only thing that's in their lens right now because it's been a challenge for so long. Going back to the example of weight loss, after someone loses weight, they could build muscle, they could run a marathon, they could do some type of a strength training process. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you can help support them through new goals. Don't leave that as an opportunity that you're just going to set aside all because you told them like, hey, look, after this, you're not going to need me anymore. Or how about this? You can help support them through higher level programs. So many of the clients who worked with us initially in our group coaching program for hormones started off in a group, but then got to a place where their problems were so specific, where they needed this or where they wanted to have this tap in to a coach and to a mentor, where they said to themselves, yes, I love the group for the accountability, but I want someone to plug in even more so I can see results faster, so I can continue to grow myself in other areas. This is where we offered them higher level programs with one-on-one mentorship, programs with exclusive masterminds that maybe only had a select few people who were talking about different challenges and who were growing in different ways. Graduating the program should not be the default churn point. It should not be the thing where you're anchoring people so when they join your world, they're looking to graduate. You should actually be talking in your content saying this is the first step in their journey. People who are with you continue to work on other things. You should talk about it in your onboarding. There's tons of things that you can do other than just saying, hey, you're graduated and you're done. Now, when it comes to churn, when I'm working with a coach or a practitioner one-on-one inside of my signature program, coach to coach, their churn rate is one of the first things that I look at because it tells me almost everything that I need to know about where they are in their business. So for me, churn is tied directly to your monthly revenue. And in order to keep stacking and growing that monthly income into something that grows quarterly and yearly, you have to control how much that number changes and how that number changes. So like as an example here, let's say you're running a naturopathic clinic or you've got a training facility. If I know that on average, you've got 4 clients that finish or leave every month, and each client's worth about $600 a month, I know that's $2,400 in revenue disappearing every single month. Over a year, that's close to $30K. And that $30K is about a month's worth of revenue for most of you listening. Just to stay in the same place. You have to replace those people in order to stay in the same place. So something as small as a 4-client churn, you won't grow by a month, and you're simply going to replace what you've lost. Now, if we take that 4 clients, and let's say we drop the churn from 4 clients a month to 2 clients a month. You've instantly kept $14,000 a year in revenue immediately without adding a single new sale. And here's why this is so powerful. When we know your churn number, we can use it to set clear sign-up targets. So not only can we retain money on the back end by having these people stay with us longer, we can ascend them into other programs and actually charge them more, so we're making more revenue off of them. Plus, we can set up these sign-up targets. So if your goal is to grow by like $5,000 a month and you know you'll lose $2,400 a month in churn, then I know that your target isn't $5,000 in sales, it's $7,000 or $7,500. So with this, it lets us adjust the way that we're setting your goals. And it also lets us adjust your marketing calendar and your content strategy. Because depending on where you are and how many people are joining or leaving your program, you might want to push specific programs and offers that's going to have the biggest positive impact on your recurring revenue. So instead of posting and promoting something randomly, this number will help you line up launches and promos and nurture content with the exact numbers you need to hit your goals. That way you're not doing guessing and you're not wasting energy maybe promoting programs that aren't going to get you to your goals at the end. So that's why in C2C, we don't just track churn to reduce it. Of course, that's the first primary thing with churn, but we're also using it as a powerful tool to drive both the retention of your clients and the growth of your business. Now, here's the wild thing, and actually this is a question for you guys listening. When was the last time you looked at your churn rate? Probably never, right? Because most coaches I speak to don't actually know their churn rate. And if they do, they have no idea whether or not the number is good or bad. And there's actually a few reasons why it's not on their radar and why most of you guys aren't focusing on this. The first reason is you don't know what the number is. You have no idea what your churn rate is because no one is tracking it. Your focus is only on upfront sales. It's only on new client signups. It's only on onboarding. So you're too busy chasing the new people to realize that people are slipping out your back door. The second reason is even if you knew the number, some of you don't know how to judge it. I'll tell you that the healthy churn number, and the definition of healthy is like good, looks very different for different types of health practices. As an example, someone doing mostly one-on-one sessions versus someone running a 50 to 100 person program. If I have someone with a 50% churn rate and they're only doing one-on-one, that's a huge problem because they have personal, intimate relationships and they're spending one-on-one time with every single person, and these people are leaving. Versus that same 50% with the 100-person group program, well, that's a completely different story. Is it the group? Is it the community? Is it the messaging? So your delivery model, your price point, and your capacity all change the math on whether or not that churn number is something that's healthy or that's not healthy. Now, let's say you know your churn number, okay? And you know that the number is healthy or not healthy. Cool. Well, the next challenge is even if you have the number, most of you don't know your program's success rate. And this one is huge because if you can't measure your client's success, if you don't know how many people went through your program and actually saw the result properly and actually kept their results long-term, as an example, inside our hormone coaching program, we had a 92% success rate, as in people would lose 30 pounds in 12 weeks, and for 6 months afterwards, they would keep the weight off successfully. And I knew this. And because I knew this, I knew who was going to stay and who was not going to stay. So if you can't measure client success through your process, if you don't know who's doing well and who's not doing well, there's no way that you can improve churn. And if you can't improve it, you're always going to be losing clients because you don't know what's working for them or not. So inside of the C2C program, we dig into these numbers right away. Not just so you know what they are, but so you know what's normal for your business model, where your client journey is breaking down, preventing these people from not being successful, and how we then go about fixing it without burning you out or maybe bringing on the wrong team members who aren't actually going to be able to help for this. So in going through this, we've talked about why churn is really important. I really want to go into now the 4 reasons why churn exists in a health coaching business, because every single health business faces this same challenge. It does not matter what part of the industry you are in. These 4 reasons will crush your churn over and over again. So pay attention here. The first one is you have no pathway of retention. You haven't designed an intentional next step for your clients to go. You're doing intentional next steps on the fly, and you're not really crystal clear on the process in which people have to go through. And there's a lot of ways that a retention pathway can work. You can have a maintenance program. There could be an advanced level. There could be an ongoing membership. But maybe you don't have a clear pathway for that. So clients naturally exit your world when they finish because they don't understand that there's another area that they can be working with you. Now, number 2 is a transactional offer structure. There are so many practitioners who are still session-based packages and still have really short-term commitments. This really positions your work. It positions the way that you can help them as a service that they consume, not a transformation that they commit to. When I am working with a client, as an example, inside a C2C, we work with people from 6 months to 12 months. I know that they're making decisions in business quarters. I know that they're doing 90-day planning, 180-day planning for what they're going to be building out in the future. So why on earth would I offer a 3-month commitment? That's just saying I'm getting you to the next problem before I then have to ask you to recommit. And it's the same thing with sessions. And a lot of practitioners will do this. 6 sessions, 8 sessions, 15 sessions. And then after that, you're saying 15 sessions, let's say your sessions are an hour each. Within 15 hours, their life is going to be fully changed. You know it's not going to be. You know that they have more work to do. They secretly know that. So again, doing this is more of a, after the 15 sessions, you're going to have to convince them to work with you again anyways. Versus converting them into something that's monthly, something that's the actual appropriate term. And I'll tell you, the majority of pros in the industry struggle with the switch, not because they can't deliver a result within a longer time frame, but because they are worried about selling a longer time frame. They think to themselves, if I tell someone that they have to commit for 8 months to a year or 6 months, that it's going to be too big and that the person is going to say no. Guess what? If the person says no, that means they are not the right person, and your messaging should be speaking to someone at a higher level who will commit to that length. Now, reason number 3, short-term marketing. You're promising something super short-term. The majority of practitioners, especially when they're doing Facebook ads or Instagram ads, you're selling the quick win instead of giving them the long game, which attracts people who are looking for a single fix rather than a long-term partnership with you. You can't sell a 6-week challenge and then rush them to get some outlandish result like lose 40 pounds. And then afterwards, there's no really strategy for them as to what they're going to do. So anytime you are making a marketing promise, anytime you are promoting, you're offering a guarantee with your service, you're telling them it's going to be something like a one and done. You are encouraging people to hunt and search for the quick win. All of the clients working with us inside the C2C always talk about the long game. You get the initial result so you can work towards the long game. It's lose the 30 pounds so you can run the marathon. It's become digestive and bloating issue free so that way you can then start to work on your hormone health, so that way you can then start to improve the quality of life and take multiple vacations without being bloated when you're eating a meal. It is all about long term. When we convince someone, you're not trying to force someone into your program. What you're effectively saying is like, hey, here's an opportunity that you have 6 months, 8 months, a year from now down the road. Here's the potential life that you can have. Doesn't this look more appealing than forever chasing the first win that you have that's not going to be successful? Now, the fourth one's a really big one. It's a weak client ecosystem. Most of the people who have high churn rates do not have a community or continued accountability in order for people to stay. Having a community and giving a client the ability to stay continuously accountable to you creates an emotional connection. When a client is bought into the journey, into the process, into the community, into you as a coach, they stay longer because they want to stay in your world. They want to operate like you. They want to be like you. They want to be able to live the life that you're living. So if they do not have the emotional connection, they don't have a reason to stay once their program is up. They were just going to go with another service provider who actually has more of a connection to them. So these are the 4 reasons why churn exists inside of a health coaching business. Now, before we go, I want to share that everything that I've just walked you through, knowing your churn rate, understanding what's healthy for your model, building a pathway of retention for your clients, and creating an ecosystem that clients want to stay in, all of these things are exactly the things that I'm going to be going deep on inside of my Overflow 5-day series. Over 5 days, I'm going to be walking you through how to structure your offers to reduce that churn and increase recurring revenue inside of your business. We'll be going through how you can build marketing that actually fills the right programs at the right time, improving the amount of people that stay in your world. And we're going to be going through creating the kind of client experience that keeps people for 12 to 18 plus months instead of the 3 to 4. So if you've been feeling like you're constantly replacing clients instead of stacking growth in your business, then let's get you in on this. The series is happening September 1st to the 5th. It's private and spots are limited because I'm making sure that every single one of you gets personal guidance via the question and answer period after each session. So you can DM me on Instagram for the info on the Overflow series, or you can click the link in the description to learn more and register yourself. That is all for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.